The heat is on, causing a few showers and storms. We are tracking them, Storm Tracker 4, right now.
Also, first at 4, Michigan reaches a COVID vaccine milestone. The CDC has questions about a potential new side effect. And here's Paula.
She took a licking and she's still ticking. This local woman diagnosed with COVID on her 104th birthday. What her family believes was her secret to survival.
Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Jason, in for Karen, and thanks for joining us on this click-on edition of First at 4. The weekend forecast is up first. It's a little more important than normal with the Grand Prix revving up with activities to run all weekend on Belle Isle. There's a look at it right now. And, of course, the fans are back this year, so it's even doubly important. Brandon Rue working some night side hours tonight with the first look at the forecast. What's up, B-Rue?
They are sweating it out there, no matter if you're on Belle Isle, what you're doing. We've got the heat index, a good 2 to 4 degrees warmer than the air temperatures, so humidity is out there. We're middle upper 80s. Relief from the heat comes in the way of storms coming out of the middle part of the country, even severe thunderstorm warnings as this storm cell traveling north to south into Saginaw and then Flint. So we'll be tracking that as most of the rain, thunder will be parts of our north zone. But if you're heading out and about, make sure you have the local forecasters app. Pretty garden variety for the rest of the evening. We're keeping an eye on radar. Again, Jason, I think most of that stays north.
All right, Brandon. And as we mentioned, the Detroit Grand Prix is back on Belle Isle after missing a year because of the pandemic. Today's free pre-day, which is sold out, by the way, gets 8,500 fans in for an inside look at the Grand Prix. There are tickets still available for tomorrow and Sunday. Our Jamie Edmonds is on Belle Isle tracking all the action.
Racing is back on Belle Isle. They're preparing for qualifying and practice. And also fans are back and they're thrilled to be here.
I'm excited because I really like cars.
Looking at all the cars has been really fun for her.
Coming up at 5, we'll talk to the fans more about all the activities on the island. And then coming up at 6, we'll have a story about Jimmy Johnson moving from NASCAR to IndyCar and how it's not as easy as you would think. That's coming up on Local 4.
All right, love all of that, Jamie. Look forward to it. Well, 2 steps forward and 1 step back. That seems to be the way it goes when it comes to the coronavirus vaccinations. Michigan has reached the milestone of 60% of adults with at least 1 shot. Governor Whitmer and President Biden both hope to reach 70% by July 4th, but Michigan will pretty much reopen July 1st, regardless of where we stand on the vaccination rate. Meantime, NBC has confirmed the FDA has told Emergent Biosolutions to destroy 60 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that were deemed not suitable for use. The plant has previously had problems with contamination. However, the FDA will clear 2 batches of the vaccine to be used in the U.S. or exported to other countries. The CDC will hold an emergency meeting next week to talk about cases of heart inflammation in young adults following the 2nd dose of a COVID-19 vaccination. The agency has identified at least 275 cases now of myocarditis in people ages 16 to 24, when that number was originally expected to be between just 10 and 102. Most of the patients did recover, but 15 are still hospitalized, including 3 in the ICU. The CDC says the reports are still rare and the risks of not getting vaccinated far outweigh the possible side effect. We're also tracking a setback for the cruise industry. 2 guests have tested positive for the COVID-19 virus on the Celebrity Millennium, the first ship to sail out of North America since the pandemic began. The entire crew and passengers were reportedly fully vaccinated before getting on the ship. The guests are isolating in their room, and several people they came in contact with are in quarantine awaiting results from a test. A cruise expert on the ship says no one seems very concerned, though, and the cruise is continuing. New cases of the virus, along with 8 additional deaths. Did former President Trump's Justice Department seize the phone data of at least 2 House Democrats? Sources are telling the New York Times and the Associated Press the answer to that is yes. This story has been developing all day. Kimberly Gill's following it in the newsroom with more. Hey, Kim.
Hi, Jason. Good afternoon. The bombshell allegations first appeared in the New York Times, which says the Trump Justice Department took the unheard of step of investigating members of Congress and their families. Prosecutors reportedly subpoenaed Apple for data connected to Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff and Eric Stilwell, who were both critical of the former president. Well, now the current Deputy Attorney General is asking the Inspector General of the Justice Department to launch an internal investigation. Senate Democrats are demanding former attorneys general Bill Barr and Jeff Sessions to testify before Congress about what they call a, quote, gross abuse of power. Thus far, Barr and Sessions have not commented publicly on these allegations. The Justice Department reportedly went digging into members of Congress as part of an aggressive investigation looking for leaks related to the Russia investigation that was swirling around the former president. So, Jason, much more to come on this. We'll keep you posted. For now, back to you.
Yeah, we'll see you after tennis. Who knows when that'll be, but all right. Thanks, Kim.
Sure.
President Biden and his fellow G7 leaders were all smiles today as they met for the first day of their seaside summit in England. The leaders gathered for the group picture today with Queen Elizabeth. Earlier, the leaders vowed to commit at least 1 billion coronavirus vaccines to countries struggling with the virus. The president will also travel to Brussels for NATO meetings, and he'll wrap up his European tour with a sit-down with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The numbers may be going down, but there are still people contracting COVID. One local family is celebrating the survival of a loved one who was diagnosed with the virus on, get this, her 104th birthday. Let's get to Paula Tutman with this story. And Paula, this family says it's a great example of how getting vaccinated is the right choice.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, great to see you on the 4. Welcome. Yeah, you know what? This is a family that takes this disease very, very seriously. In fact, probably more seriously than most, and then multiply that by 104. And here's why. Her name is Pearl, a spicy centenarian. She has been a frequent guest on her granddaughter's social media pages. Miss Pearl is a super survivor. She has survived bouts with cancer, contracted the H3N2 influenza virus during the 1968 flu pandemic. She survived that April 21st on her 104th birthday.
They diagnosed her with COVID. We got the COVID. I thought that was it.
What's incredible is this is a family that believes in safety. Had Pearl not gotten sick, she would have gotten the COVID vaccine. But everyone else around her already had.
But my sister came here. She was inoculated fully, and she still tested positive. So we had a whole hospital, everyone that had the virus. Except for my oldest son who had taken off. He ran away. He ran away. We didn't see him for weeks.
They believe the family did not get deathly ill because the vaccines worked. And they believe Miss Pearl survived because of her previous exposure to the H3N2 influenza virus 53 years ago.
I thought that this was it. But she never once needed a ventilator. They gave her oxygen for a few days, and they kicked her out the hospital. They said, come get her. So it was amazing.
This is Miss Pearl just a few days after returning home from the hospital and returning to social media.
It's nothing but the blood of Jesus that covered us.
But just this week, the family has seen what looks like long haulers setting in. And when you're 104 years old and looking at a long road to recovery, there is more road behind you than in front of you. Yet there are signs she's already starting to come back. This was her yesterday.
God been good to me. Oh.
And the family is resolved she will pull through. And because this is a woman who takes a licking and keeps on ticking, she is scheduled to start her COVID vaccine shots next week.
She took a big beating, but she still came home, and she was still talking and still cracking jokes and still being herself.
Yeah, this is a family. They believe in those vaccinations. And like I said, she should be vaccinated next week, provided that she is still up for it. And again, they believe the fact that they were inoculated, or at least partially inoculated. They believe that's the reason the entire family didn't get seriously sick with COVID-19. Obviously, they believe age, not a factor. Get that vaccine. Jason?
I think it's more maybe Pearl's just one tough bird, that's for sure. And Paula,
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
I
right.
love that so many stories that you've worked on kind of uncover an angle we haven't thought of. It's not so much she needed the vaccine, it's that she was protected by everyone around her getting it.
Yeah, well, she was actually ill and had to go to the hospital about a week or so before she contracted it. So she was in the emergency room. They said there was no distancing. That's where they believe she actually got COVID, was in the emergency room. But again, they weren't as sick because all of them had at least a partial vaccination.
Right. Good stuff, Paula. I love Pearl. Thank you so much for sharing her story.
Right? Me too. Thanks.
Well, we're headed to the Grand Prix weekend, like we said. Ben's off today, but look at this. We get Brandon Rue over here. It's just like, you hear the fans? We have the fans. We're just going to pump in the crowd applause later.
Grand Prix or the French Open?
And some vroom vrooms. Yeah. What say you on the forecast?
Well, a couple of speed bumps, if you will, for the Grand Prix weekend. I think this, evening, as everybody's spilling out, much better for the Grand Prix free. But Saturday going to be a little dicey, late afternoon, early evening especially. Let's get to the here and now live at Mount Clemens. Port Huron's at 84. We've got 88 in Howell, 88 Detroit, and a little more cloud cover to our north and maybe some outflow boundary winds, just cooler air coming off of a pretty good complex of storms, creating severe thunderstorm warnings, lots of lightning, something we're keeping an eye on. But I think even our evening shower chances diminish, especially after 8 or 9 o'clock when we lose the daytime heating. Most of our north zone, parts of our west zone, better chance for those evening showers. Tomorrow, the heat, humidity are on, and the longer the shower and storm chances take, the warmer we get, and that's not necessarily a good thing because it'll create more instability and better, stronger shower and storm chances. The good news is we scrape the humidity on Sunday, ideal. I mean, we're looking at sunshine, 80s, but sans humidity, and it's going to be a really nice end to the weekend. You can see this little complex to our north, also a disturbance that we're watching for tomorrow. That's going to sweep across and through the area. So for this evening, you can see how this is sort of an aggressive model through later tonight, early overnight. Rain chances, though, certainly are there. For tomorrow, the model waiting until 4 or 5 p.m. I think it could be a little bit before this for the onset of some showers and storms, but I guess for race fans, the later the better for sure. Sunday looks great. As we get into Monday, just another shot of slightly cooler air, and that could prompt a couple of morning showers on Monday. But again, let's get you set for tomorrow. We're going to get into the upper 80s sometime between noon and 4, but with cloud cover increasing, and I think 3, 4 p.m., some showers around, so we'll keep them in the middle 80s. On Sunday, 86 sunshine. We've got a look at the rain chance on Monday morning, and then finally, our last week of spring here. Jason, we finally get spring.
I thought we'd been in summer for a month now. What? Where have I been? All right, Brandon. Thanks for clicking on First at 4 today. We have a thrilling French Open match cooking right now between Nadal and Joker. So who knows how long that will go on the TV side of things. We may see you back here for more of Local 4 News at 5 and 6. But until then, enjoy the match. We'll see you when we see you.